Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're going back to Fallen Empires. Well, yeah, but not. Deck number 730 is Tourach, Dread Cantor. We finally got Tourach. We were introduced to Tourach way back in Fallen Empires with him to Tourach, things like that, but we never had a card for Tourach. So all we knew is Tourach really liked my impression anyway was, well, he really likes folks to discard. So, for 2 mana, we had a 2/1 with Kicker. Double black. Pro white. Whenever an opponent discards a card, put a counter on Tourach. So, when Tourach enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, target opponent discards 2 cards at random. Not being able to pick the cards is a big deal. So, yeah, probably going to cost 4, right? I mean, realistically, we're going to kick it. You're going to want to kick it every time because it comes in with 2+1/+1 counters that way. Now, obviously, we're wanting to win. It's a good chance it's just going to be commander damage win, right? Because the idea is this is going to get huge. Because we want to make folks discard cards. So, where we start? Hardcore discard first? Yeah, hardcore discard first. Oh, well, no. Flavor first. We've got him to Tourach. That's the card that we all remember. But there was another card, Turok's Gate. Now, granted, these cards are in there just because his name's in there. Yeah, we're not sacking the thrall, whatever. Turok's Canticle. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a card from it, so you get their best card. Now, granted, this is 4 mana. Yeah, it's a little steep, but our straight-up hardcore discard, you know what I'm talking about. Wrench Mind, Mind Sludge. I mean, we're playing mono black. This just wrecks somebody's hand. Mind Shatter. Yeah, X cards at random. But let's face it, Mind Twist is where the big game's at, right? Because you can Dark Ritual, Soul, whatever, But then we've got some, I call them helper, role player cards, You're not going to win any games with Megrim. Soul Megrim damage, but, Raider's Wake and Skull Cage, it's incremental damage when people discard, or don't have the right number of cards in hand. So let's get to ramp, shall we? We have the Expedition map and the Wayfarer's Bauble, of course. Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, and Cryptghast. Like I said, it is straight black. Now, I'll address this because it's been a while since I have addressed the Cryptghast question. How is this legal in a mono black deck? Now, I know this topic's been revisited over and over, but I haven't. The Extort ability is what is on the card. Reminder text does not contribute to color identity. Even though that Orzhov mana is on the card, it is not where color identity looks for it, because it's inside a reminder text. So this is it can go in a mono black deck. But then we got our rocks, Mind Stone, Prismatic Lens, Pristine Talisman, Charcoal Diamond, beautiful Ornithopter of Paradise, Unstable Obelisk, and then Burnished Heart, because, it's really good. But that's our mana. Little card draw, Siphon Mind, here again, it's a great discard because you're making everybody else discard and then you draw that many. The bigger game, the better, right? Underworld Connection, Ambition's Cost, Sign in Blood. But now, there's going to come a problem where opponents don't have enough cards in hand. Once everybody has no hand, a lot of cards just sit in your hands useless, right? I've been having fun with misinformation since it was printed in '96, okay? And I love it for Commander because it is a very political tool. What I have always used it as is I had a black-green deck back in the day that was, stunted growth and agonizing memories and painful memories, things like that, to just keep the opponent drawing the same 7 cards over and over again. It was, when it worked, it was brutal. But with misinformation, you can make friends. Hey, if that, dinosaur board is getting out of hand, hey, guy, do you want that Wrath God back? So, but then we have things like Otherworld Atlas. It's a great card. In the early turns, you can just keep charging it up, and in this deck, what do you probably want? Two counters on it, or, maybe even one might work. Getting everybody drawing them cards so you can make them discard. And then Noetic Scales is something that most discard decks kind of overlook. During each player's upkeep, return to its owner's hand each creature that players control with power greater than the number of cards in their hand. So all of those big, huge creatures, it's going to deal with your Blight Steels and Dark Steels and, giant worms, what have you. But if we're on our game right, they're not going to have a hand. Right? So it does say each player, so we've got to keep some card draw flowing, right? So now let's look at our creatures. We're playing mono black, so it seems like the Gray Merchant of Asphodel is a pretty good call. The Dalthy Voidwalker. I managed to pull a full art full here. That was... and I like, if a card to be put into opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile that joker instead. And then, if you want one bad enough, you can sack it to Abyssal Nocturnus. When an opponent discards a card, it gets +2 and gains fear. Imagine the Siphon Mind. Ooh. That's pretty big. Fleshbag and Merciless, obviously pretty much just removal. Filth. I like having Filth. Now, yes, I would... I don't have an Urborg in the deck, which I really should, because that's awesome with Filth, making all lands, swamps, giving them Swamp Walk. It's a beautiful thing. Didn't have it. Harvester of Souls. Something dies, you draw. Necrogoyf. Power equal the number of creature cards in all graveyards. It'll probably be big since we are, making folks discard everything. And then Rackling, it's going to get a little bit of damage, exactly like the flavor text says. This may hurt a little, just a little. It's not going to kill anybody probably, but it's going to get the life totals low enough, that small incremental damage, to where we can do something, and probably finish them off with our commander. Maybe we drew our Whisper Silk Cloak. Maybe we drew the Phyresis on it, because the Phyresis really makes commander damage wins. Well, now I don't have to do 21, I have to do 10. A lot more feasible. Now, are we going to the... Yeah. I was led down a rabbit hole. I wanted a board wipe. Blood on the Snow, creatures or walkers. And then you get something back. And then I was like, well, I'm just using it as a 6-mana wipe. And then I was like, well, let me double check. And then I realized I had all snow covereds, enough snow coverage to make it work. So I was like, let's look at some of the rest. Hailstorm Valkyrie, Rime Transfusion, Priest of the Haunted Edge, Chilling Shade, that's amazing. It's a shade with flying. And then the Rime-Bound Dead as a really good blocker. So, yeah. I know the snow theme is not necessary, but Turok is just cold-blooded. Wah, wah, wah. Lash Wrath, Nightmare, and Corrupt. You know why they're in there? They're all mono black cards, you know. So removal wise, we have a little bit here. We have Fatal Push, Feed the Swarm, Terror. We're going to try this new Sudden Edict. It is a strictly better Diabolic Edict because it has split second for the exact same cost and speed. Okay. Hero's Downfall and Ruinous Path. Apparently I'm locked and loaded for walkers. I didn't realize that. Murder, Flay Essence, Flaying Tendrils, and then our board wipes, you know, Crux of Fate, it's not bad. Decree of Pain, and then ultimately Plague Wind. If it ain't mine, it's gone. I've won so many games just off of a resolved Plague Wind. Bojuka Bog is a absolutely phenomenal card for discard decks because some decks, by making them discard, you're just fueling them more. And there's always going to be those decks that you're like, I'm playing Tourach, but my opponent's playing Muldrotha or Gitrog or something like that. And yeah, nuke that yard. Rogue's Passage, because like I said, we're probably winning by commander damage. A few cycling lands, you know, Barren Moor, Polluted Mire, the Temple of the False Gods, just decent for monocolor. Scavenger Grounds, exile all graveyards. Done with it, get it going. And then lastly, our Labyrinth of Scophos, which is a really expensive activation for a Maze of Ith. If I had another Maze of Ith that would have been there, I probably would have ran both, though, to be honest with you. All totaled, when I listed the deck over on Architect, it clocked in at $179. And this is not the, you know, tweaked, high-powered version of this deck. So there's definitely room if you've got the cards to power it up. Go for it, you know. But that is what I have got for Tourach. I love that art too, you know. So tell me, serious question time. Let's get this straight. What do y'all think about... We have several different versions of every card. Way back there was... Well, in the beginning, there was just the card. There was Plow Under, and that was it. And then we got foils, so we had a normal version and a higher end version. But now we have, you know, 7 or 8 versions, sometimes more, of each card as it's being printed. Personally, I like it. It does, the chase for the higher end cards makes the normal copies cheaper, to which I know I'm biased because, you know, I consume cards this wall because once those cards are in that deck, that's it. They belong. All of those cards now belong to Turok. I don't, you know. Now, in 3 years, if there's more, you know, if I go to rebuild it, that's a different story. But I consume cards just straight up. If I'm doing a deck a day, then that's 100 cards a day gone out of the collection. So that's why, you know, I use a bunch of tap lands. I use a bunch of things that most folks don't. But because of that, I like the normal copies being cheaper. Now, I love the shiny just like everybody else does. I'm part raccoon. But do you like it? Do you think it's good? Because, you know, stuff like this, the regular Turok, it's a beautiful card, don't get me wrong, but the alternate arts, the showcases, I love the different treatments in the new D&D set. 730's on the wall, we completed a row. The D&D set, we're going to have that. The module variant, we're going to have the sepia tone variant, we're going to, you know, who knows. And I like it. I like it a lot, actually. The people who want that stuff have it, and the people who just, like me, want the regular cards, they're cheaper. So, I don't know. What do y'all think? It's a popular topic. I haven't really weighed in on it that much. But, what do you think? For right now, though, I got to get to deck building because if you noticed, I've been wearing the same clothes the past 4 or 5 days. I recorded all of these at once, and I have no decks to be filmed yet, so I've got to go build some decks now. I appreciate you watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.